Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Cisco,
And this is Mike.
and welcome to the Cisco and Mike podcast. Today's guest, he's a director, a producer, Mr. Chicano Hollywood himself, Johnny Murillo.
Hey,
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. And like I always say, I'm Johnny Murillo, but we are all Chicano Hollywood. We're all part of it. Everybody, But yeah, thank you guys. I'm happy to be here. This is so cool.
No, we appreciate you coming down, especially, it's a holiday weekend right now. So
It's Sunday. Usually Sundays are people like to chill, sleep in, and stuff like that. So thank you.
Church
Appreciate
this morning and dropped my wife off, came over here. So yeah.
Cool.
Oh, and then the parade's tonight too. The Hollywood Christmas Parade. Danny Trejo's going to be Grand Mastering that.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I didn't even know
tonight,
that.
6
Huh.
o'clock. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's gonna be Santa.
Yeah. He's the Grand Master, so I think he'd just be in the big one.
Oh, okay, gotcha. In the big carroza,
Yeah, that
whatever
might be
big
some
car.
cool shots to get.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say that's not a bad event to just go check
Yeah,
out with
just go
family.
check out, yeah.
Nice.
That's part of our plan. But get right in the middle of it.
I don't want him to machetarme, you know. Get the heck out of the way, fool, you know.
Or flex it anymore.
I know.
Blood in, blood out.
But yeah, so there's obviously, we're going to have a great show today. There's a lot to talk about. He's doing a lot of great things right now, especially in the Chicano and community and the Latino community. And I know it branches out into a lot more than just Chicano. So,
Oh, yeah,
But-
yeah.
Johnny, obviously, we want to know a lot about you. So we want to start with, tell us a little bit about yourself. You told us you were from the Bay Area originally.
Yeah. So originally from San Jose, right? That's hometown for me. I was, like all of us, raised in the lowrider culture, all that kind of stuff, and that's my history. Stepdad was into it hard, right? He was in, I don't like to always say what letter organization he was part of, but he was deep into that with my tios, right, up in the north. So he was part of that familia up there, So because of that, our house was always under constant drama,
Yeah.
He had a 2-car garage, so he had freaking lowriders in and out. He would fix them up and all that. Always the homies, always coming over all the time. Wall to wall playboy and hustler. I mean, it was so for me and my brothers, we always go into the garage. Wow, yeah, so it was just a culture. My mom had a 62. That's what she would cruise. He had multiple ones, 59s, bombs. He had multiple ones. My first car was a 53 Chevy, and my brother's was a 53 panel. It was just what we did. And then we King and Story. If you're from San Jose, King and Story, that's like Whittier Boulevard over here. So King and Story, that was our place. So that was just La Vida, right? They ended up taking him out. Whatever business went wrong. So they took him home. They took him out, and that shifted a lot because now you have a single mom with 5 kids, and she's just trying to survive. So we had that life. Me and my 2 older brothers. We're all caught up. We're all caught up in the life. I always say they were good cholos. I was not a good cholo at all. Anything I sucked at, that. I was there, right? And, when things had to get down, because it was Barrio Libre, there was Barrio Horseshoe. And if you're from there, you know what I'm talking about. They always had tensions. There was the Lomas, all that. So those tensions. So when it was going on, this is the 80s, right? It was different, right? So yeah, of course, you got to go back up. But, man, at the same time, though, while everyone's hanging out at school, and remember there's one particular day they're all tatting each other up, I'm sneaking off to drama class, and I'm in the school play, right? Not even tell anybody. So I was in the school play in 8th grade, and it's funny because the way that happened was we got back from 7th grade to 8th grade. If you're down with the homies, you're not going to go register on registration day. You just go cut school, right? And so we go cut. So we cut. So what happens the next year? We show up. And then me and this other homie were in the 8th grade. And we were in the 8th grade. We were put in the drama theater class. So we're like in the school theater. Neither one of us have been there before. All these white kids, kind of like and this is, let me back up a little bit. This is when they started busing. So they bussed us from the Almaden area, which is the barrio. It's still one of the toughest areas. My sister works for San Jose PD. She says our neighborhood's still the worst neighborhood out there. So they would bus us from there to Willow Glen. So if you knew Willow Glen High School, Markham Junior, that's the white side of town, right? So we were there, and we're in this theater class. So it's like High School Musical, right? All these white kids in there and stuff. And so we're there just trying to be hard. And I look back and we're only freaking 8th grade. We're little kids. I barely had, bellos. We're just young, right? But when the teacher, I remember his name was Mr. Van Houten, he's going alphabetical order. And he goes to my homie because he's going one at a time. You had to go up on stage and you had to do something, a monologue or say a speech or something, right? So all these white kids are going up and they're doing all this crazy stuff, right? Because that's what they do. They're drama kids. He goes to my homie, and my homie's like, F that stuff. I'm not going to do that. You know, so they had some words and kicks him out. Go to the principal's office, tell him that you can't come back to my class, right? So he left, and I'm still there. And then he goes through it's alphabetical order, finally get down to Murillo, to M. Mr. Murillo, are you going to follow your friend, or are you going to go up there? And I just kind of thought, it's kind of cool. So I look, he's gone. All right, I'll do it. So I went up, and I just didn't do much. I said, hey, my name's Johnny Murillo. That's all I said. Came back, and after class, he tells me, he goes, hey, I saw what you did up there. You got something in you. Don't leave my class. Just stay. I said, okay, cool, I'll stay. So I stayed, and I got in class, right? So I stayed in. And next thing you know, they start, a couple weeks go by, and then they're prepping for the school play. So then he comes up to me and goes, I want you to audition for the lead role. I'm all, heck no, man. You'll put my face on a poster. It'll be all over school, and I'll get my butt kicked. So, no, I can't do that. He goes, no, I need you to. And I argue and said, no, I'm not going to do it. So I didn't. There's no way I could have, right? You still walk around with the boys, and they say, oh, this wouldn't work, right?
Yeah.
So I, excuse me, I got that double. So when auditions came around, it was just like High School Musical, where they came, they put them on the wall, all these kids gathered around it, they all looked, and I'm kicking back like this, right? And I'm like, all right, let's see, right? So after they all leave, I just went, just curiosity, who got the lead role? So I go on this guy named David Martz, he gets it, and I'm like, that's cool, he's a punk, Then I look all the way down, and it's this third boy, Johnny Murillo. I'm like, I didn't even audition, what the heck? So he still put me to play. Half of me was like, oh, crap, I'm going to get my butt kicked, right?
Yeah.
The other half is like, this is cool because there was something inside of me. Even though I was surrounded by all the stuff that our community is surrounded by, there was still something inside of me that I wanted to get involved in that, right? Yeah. So I did, right? So during the day, I'm with the homies and all that. Practice would come around, I'd sneak away. One particular time, they're all tatting each other up, Barrio Libre Locos and all that. And, the old school, remember Indian Ink and all that? They're doing all that to each other, and I'm like, I can't do that. I'm afraid of needles. But I said, I'm out, and I went to drama practice. So I ended up doing the play, and I probably looked like an idiot. It was about computers. It was called Never Spindle, Mutilate, or Fold. And I was in it, right? So here, during... when I had to be what I had to be with the homies, I was, but deep inside, I knew what I wanted to do, right? So I got on. So it was great, So I didn't even tell my mom. I told nobody I was in that school play. I told my mom about maybe 10, 15 years ago. She's like, what, pendejo? You were in the play and you didn't tell me? I said, I couldn't. You would have told everybody. And she would have. She would have told my tias. They would have told my cousins.
That's how it is, though.
Oh, yeah. They would have told my homies.
So the homies never found out?
No one ever found out. No one. It was my secret. No one found out. I just did the whole play. All these white kids. It was like, I look back at it and I was like, man, what a trip. Because here, when they had the cast party, I'm all there, like that, right? And they're looking at me like a regular person now instead of this guy that hung out with the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
But once that thing was over, I had to go back into it, and there we were. But it was, I see that, and I saw what was inside of me. And I recognize within our community, there's so many people that want to do so much more. We just get caught up in these cultural things, right? Yeah. We get caught up in this negative energy sometimes, negative people and things that are generational. So I what I want to do is start pulling people out of that. I mean, I'm still down with everything about who we are. I'm down with it. Yeah. I see though, there's so much more that we need to start helping each other out. I always tell people we were here first. Chicanos were here first, but for some reason we're last. So what do we got to do to get? And I don't want to knock anybody out, but at least get our place where we should be.
Just recognize.
That's our mission. Yeah.
Get some recognition. Yeah. Not a lot of times I feel like us in our community, like we're fake. We're not being ourselves. We can't be ourselves. You know what I mean? Just like him, he wanted to be in drama, but he couldn't. So you have to be fake. You have to fake.
But I think, like you said, it comes down to not being scared, because it's not about being scared. It's about false pride.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, good point.
It's that I mean, I was not growing up. There's a lot of shit that I wish I could have done that I held myself back because of the same reason. Yeah. I had a homie, and you remember, I had a homie that I kind of, to this point, I look back and I'm like, fuck, a lot of the things I did them to what he said we as Chicanos should be like. And it's like, fuck, like, that shit didn't matter because now I don't even talk to this fool.
Yeah.
And it's like, I did a lot of things that were against my beliefs and my values.
And you,
it's
and
like,
you didn't do a lot of things you wanted to.
exactly, I didn't do a lot of things that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I thought the homies saw it as a weakness. The homies like, oh, you ain't down, fool, whatever.
Yeah, dude,
So-
exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I remember when, so I went to, again, for all the people from up north, if you know, Washington Elementary School, puro raza. All of us were all Mexican, Chicano, all Mexican American, right? All of us, Mexicanos. Then the bus thing happens. So now for junior high, it happened with my older brother. He went from Washington to the white side of town. Then it happened to me, right? But I'm going from elementary school where I always got straight A's. It was just easy, straight A's, straight A's, straight A's. When I went to 7th grade, the first quarter, now we had 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's how it was for us, junior high, right? So 7th grade, we had the first quarter came, and I had different classes, right? And guess what? I got straight A's. So on report card day, it was just normal to me. So I'm hanging out with all the homies, right? Because by this time, because of the way it was, and a lot of the racism that I was going through over there, you had to hang out with the homies. It's like, you have to hang out with it, or else just for protection, right? So I remember the report card day came around, and all these fools like that, like, oh, what'd you get? And they were proud of failing classes.
Yeah.
One dude, shy boy, grabs my report card, looks at it. What? This guy got 8 straight A's, man. He's a schoolboy. And they just, what? He's a schoolboy. And I remember Billy go, he's a schoolboy. And they just made a big deal about it, right?
Did they change your nickname?
Yeah, dude. And guess what? After that, I'm like, oh, crap.
Fuck that. I got to get lesson A's.
I got to get lesson A's, dude. Yeah. And exactly what happened. So I just said, no, we don't do homework, I guess. It's like what you're saying, the cultural things. Chicanos don't do homework. Chicanos don't register for classes. Chicanos, they don't get A's. They get C's, D's, and F's. And C's are a big deal. So I just fell right into that because of that little pressure from your friends and all that idea of who we are. I look back at them like, why the heck? I could have freaking got straight A's all the way through high school.
It's like carrying books. You wouldn't carry your books.
Oh, you don't carry yours. No, you steal one. You steal one.
You take it away from somebody else. Hey, let me borrow that book in class.
You gotta
never carried books.
You gotta tag it up too.
Yeah.
Oh, you got those peachy folders. Remember those peachies?
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah. You put the folder, you fold it in half, and you put it in the back pocket.
That's
you walk around like that.
That's like that. Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. And it's just like what you said. It's like we have to get past that because it's like you feel bad because kids are still going through that. For whatever reason, this kid might be maybe some damage at home, maybe some pressure at home, but his bringing that to another friend like you would be, where you're like, I got dreams and ideas, and they're like, no, we don't do that. And then you buckle under that, and then what does it do? It just kind of, I think you're exactly where you should be now, but you wonder what would have been, what could have been, and I'm a big advocate on. Don't look back on your mistakes because within one decision you could be right where you should have been in the beginning, right? So I think you're there. I know you're there. I feel like I'm there too because I didn't even graduate high school. I got kicked out.
Same here.
Yeah.
I dropped out at 18.
At 18, yeah.
And I have a master's degree, so.
Oh, see, sweet. I got a bachelor's degree. Yeah. So I'm big on like, okay, we had that fun. We had whatever the damage was, good or bad. But within one decision, you can just say, okay, I'm gonna get where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of what we do now. It's not like we have what's called the Chicano Hollywood master classes, right? Those are designed. Man, that cough. Those are designed to so like they're production driven right now, so they're designed to be an outreach to that young homie that was like me in the 7th grade in San Jose, or that young homegirl in Houston or Albuquerque, where they have these ideas and dreams, but they don't think they can ever get there. I had no idea that I could do what I'm doing now. Yeah. I was raised in an atmosphere where at 16 years old, I remember when I would turn 16, my grandma, we're all migrant workers. Everybody would just come in and back and so on. My mom finally settled and bought a house, right? But my grandma, when I was 15 and a half, she's telling my mom, why is he still in school? He should be on the cannery working like us, and she's pressuring my mom to have me drop out and go move to Modesto and work in the cannery, right? So that was the atmosphere. All my grandfather, my uncles, everyone was raised in the farms up in the Monferino cherry orchards up in San Jose. So that was the life that they all knew, and that kind of atmosphere, right? So for us to kind of just go to the next level, you had to have something pushing you, right? So we all had that thing. So I never thought about Hollywood, never thought about any of this kind of stuff because it wasn't within our universe. It just wasn't part of it. So I'm designing these classes so that, God willing, gets around some of those kids they're going to hear like Fabian Alomar. He does a class for me called on Acting 101, right? And the first segment of every class is them telling their story. So they'll see Fabian, and he'll start off as how he was a gang member in Echo Park. Talks about that a little bit. And then the second segment, the third, they go into talking about the craft of acting. But the first segment's so important because I want it to be that bridge so they could say, oh, he was a gang member?
The relationship.
Yep. If
Being
he's
able to
doing
relate.
that, then I could do that. You know, I have undocumented dreamers. I have people that crazy migration stories, people that were from Miami and they had great backgrounds. Some had cartel backgrounds, you know what I mean? But there's something in there in the beginning segment that they have to say that will connect with someone else, because I think just what we just need is just to kind of like throwing fishing lines back into our community. Like, hey, you can pull out, you can get out. You don't have to be a part of this. You know, you can step up. And I'm not talking like our culture is our culture. I still want another lowrider. I still want all that. So that's a culture. I'm talking about the other stuff that keeps us down. That stuff. You know, our culture is something we should be proud of. Everything a part of it. But there is that dark side. That's what we got to make an impact there. You know, look at where you're at with your business. You know, this is great. I'm super impressed. Like, this is great. We are with your photography. I saw that. It stood out to me. I didn't know that the photographer was right here. I'm like, dang, that's great, you know? Yeah, so that's why you should go in the middle of the parade tonight and just try to see if we catch that same shot.
You know what's crazy that, excuse me, I got that cough too. But the fact that no matter how we grew up, everybody grows up differently and has different experiences, or so we think, but in a way, it's all tied together. Mm-hmm. We all have those similarities that occur, you know what I mean? So, like you said, it's just about reaching out and saying, and building that, you know what, like, hey, I went through that too. Yeah. Or in some form, I was there.
Yeah. No, I think, and that's what I think those where we're at now, like, okay, there's no doubt, and I've seen this, I've experienced this myself too, that when you start growing, some people are going to step back and say, okay, let's see what's up, see what this is all about. I've got that vibe a little bit with Chicano Hollywood, right? Yeah. I mean, I have respect for any of the pioneers that were here. I wasn't raised in Hollywood. I was raised in San Jose, raised in the hood. We went to church. You know, I gave my life to the Lord, went to Bible school, and I was a pastor for 23 years. So my whole life is, my first part of my career life has been in ministry. A lot of outreach, a lot of inner city work, all that kind of stuff, right? So I pastored all over the Southwest, Hawaii. The last church I planted and outreaches we did was in Sacramento. And then from there, we just started plugging into Hollywood. And I knew this to me is like a calling, because I felt like God called me here. And it wasn't to start a church or anything like that. It's just to plug in, right? Yeah. Now, understand, I'm from, I got plugged into the Pentecostal church. So for all through the 90s and early parts of 2000, I was preaching against going to movies and, watching TV. We're the kind of threw the TVs out, right? Yeah. So now I'm freaking right in the middle of it. I don't even do Christian stuff. I mean, I should, you would think. But the calling that, we're here now, it's something where, like, if we don't build each other up, to me, it's like I'm building this. And being here, I know that there's some people that have been around for a long time. They've been here since the 80s, Chicano actors, and they've had to go through hell. They went through the racism, they went through the closed doors and all that stuff. So I have mad respect for them, and I want to honor them. I know some are still kind of waiting, like, let's see what this is all about. Who's this fool? He just got here. I agree. I just got here. But this is my mission. I want to build you up. I want to honor you. All these old veteranos that are here that have been facing this, that have been going on set, I honor them as in whatever way I can. I want to build them up, because one of our dark side of our cultural dynamics is we pull each other down. The crab, the whole crab thing. We want to pull in that. Like, that's, I always tell people, I'm not competing with any other Latinos. Chicano or non-Chicano, I'm not competing with any of them. I want them to succeed. We will have, in the spaces that we're going into, some type of competition, but it's not Latinos. It's going to be others, and which I'm down with that. I'm down with, hey, let's make each other better. Competition is good, makes you better. Yeah. But when it comes to Latinos, there's another group. They said, hey, they're going to start a streaming service. I'm like, oh, heck yeah. But the way the person told me was like, I don't know if you heard, man, but, so-and-so is going to launch a streaming service. I'm like, oh, really? Shoot, that's great. I love those people. I've never met them. I've heard about them. But, man, whatever they need, we'll support. We'll build. We'll shout it out.
Yeah.
Because I want to change that culture dynamic. I'd rather celebrate someone's success than be envious of it, because I know if I'm envious of it, it'll backfire on me. You know, it doesn't work. You know, been there, done that.
Even the way they told you.
No,
you know, even the way he told you, hey, man, you know, it makes it seem like there's a stigma. Yeah, like if it's a bad thing, instead of like appreciating,
it comes back to our culture. That's how our culture is always. It's like, did you hear? Did you oíste?
Exactly.
¿Te das cuenta? And it's like, fuck, like
it's the novelas, dog. It's the novelas.
Yeah, dude. No, man, big time, dude. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's in our culture too. You know.
But that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just agree with you. I've had that. I had this other fool one time tell me, you know what, bro? You know, I'm gonna put my content on your streaming platform, but you know, I had people ask me about what's this. I said, really? I knew it was him.
Yeah.
I knew he was just making it up. So I'm like, oh, really? Well, what'd they say? Well, they're like, well, you know, he hasn't built nothing. I said, okay, did you tell him that your content's on YouTube right now? And you tell him how much money you're making on YouTube? Nothing, right? Nothing, right? It's okay. Well, come and make nothing with me then. What's the difference? I said, the difference is YouTube's not going to shout you out. I'm going to shout you out. So tell that fool that's speaking in your ear that he's full of crap, because he's trying to keep you away from what we're trying to do just because it's chisme, bro. It sounds like just a chismoso. But I knew it was the dude that was making stuff up, you know. So
he was fishing to see what he.
Yeah, he was just fishing. So I'm like, come on, bro, let's just go. He's a good guy, and I'm going to continue working with him. But that kind of stuff, it's like, come on, to me, it's like let's snap out of that real quick, because if we don't, and you know, I always, and I said this when we did our private launch, and I said, look, this movement is only historical if we do it together.
And we embrace it.
Yep. If we don't do it together, then it's just me doing something on my own, and everyone will stay away. This is mine. It's like, heck no. That's why I'm like, we're all Chicano Hollywood. How can we build this ecosystem within us? We're strong enough. We're like 1.8 trillion purchasing power within our community. It's a little bit more if you could consider all 60 million Latinos, but I kind of adjusted it down to the 40 to 50 million, so 1.8 trillion purchasing power. There's enough money going in and out of our hands that we could support our own TV shows, our own movies, we just have to do it together. If we don't do it together.
Do you think, in your experience, in dealing with, obviously, people in the industry at different levels of their career or different levels of their experiences, do you think that maybe some feel they're above what you're trying to do? They're like, oh, if I ain't getting paid, like, for example, the dude is like, what is this about? Yeah. And you're like, I ain't making money. You're not going to make nothing right now. Mm-hmm. You're not making nothing right now, but let's not make nothing together, meaning we're trying to grow. Yeah. Is there a lot of people that you encounter that is like, I'm above that?
You know, I haven't been told directly, but I feel it at times when I'm talking to people, where they're going to be like, immediately when anyone says to me, well, talk to my manager. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk to you right now. Talk to my agent. No, I'm going to talk to you right now. We're not there yet. I've dealt with agents all the time. I'm a producer too. I have my other company that I produce, you know, movies and stuff like that. So I deal with agents all the time, managers all the time. For this, it's different. And if we have to build it together from the ground up for it to be successful, and for it to be, I want people to feel like they own it. I want them to feel part of it. This isn't a Johnny Murillo thing. This is a us thing. And I think there has been some kind of resistance, and I know, you know, like, you know how our gente are, they're just waiting to see. Yeah. Which I respect, because there's probably been other people that made a lot of promises and they got hurt or they lost or whatever, right? So I understand that and I respect it. On the opposite side of that, whoever is plugging in now, to me, I'm going to honor that as best I can, because they're trusting now. They're putting their content on our streaming platform now, right? Yeah. Joe Chacon, I love that kid. He's a great actor. He's a stunt man. He's a crazy filmmaker. He made a short film all by himself. Wow. He set up the camera, he set up the sound, all that, and he does it. Then he goes back and switches it. So it's on our platform. And he just to challenge himself, right? So he's got short films on there. And so when we were hanging out, I was like, dude, whatever I got, right? There's another. I just met with another producer the other day, Lone Star Entertainment. And when we're talking, he goes, dude, I take my whole catalog. So guys like that, right? Echo's World, others, you know, guys like that. And I'm like, you know, yeah, they're in the beginning. It's like, we're gonna do a lot of things together, you know. Now, the difference we're at now than where I was as an individual producer, right? As an individual producer, I would come up with ideas and pitches together. And I would pitch them like like anyone else. You're trying to get someone at the studio level, someone somehow to be able to take your content and do something with it. That process takes forever, and I noticed that when I saw there used to be a TV show called Cristela with the comedian Cristela Alonso, right? We love that show. But man, they just did it one season. And I remember when she was on Twitter and she said, they canceled my show. And we were like, no way. We got all of us in my family, right? Because we love that show. Well, instead of replacing it with another Latino show, they put on, I think it was Dr. Ken or something, right? Another Asian show. They had 2 Asian shows on there now. There was Fresh Out of the Boat and Dr. Ken or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dang, they didn't even put in another Latino one, which I celebrate the Asians. They're turning it up. The black community, they're turning it up. Yeah. But why did we didn't even get that. They just cut us, right? And it was a great show. And then you see all these other shows that are being canceled, right? Yep. And it's like, okay, and I saw that, okay, ABC might have 1 slot for us. CBS might have 1 slot. Fox might have 1 slot. Hulu, 3 or 4 slots. Netflix, 3 or 4 slots, right? But I noticed me and all these other producers were all pitching, competing against each other. And it's like, that's never going to work. We're just going to be individuals. So I'm like, okay, how do we create this ecosystem so that we're not pitching against each other, we're pitching together? Mm-hmm. And so the way we're doing it now is, so now we have our own streaming platform. And I remember when we launched the vision for this, it was a year ago in December. We're having a Christmas mixer. And we just put it up. So this is our vision. And we had a little screen up there. We're showing different things, right? Different movie titles and up. And I said, look, we're going to launch a streaming service. Get yourselves ready. And what you get to do as a producer is that you get to tell your investors that there's a streaming platform that's going to distribute your content. And give us a year. We're going to build it up. Actually, I probably said give me a month, but it's been a year now.
We're always late.
I know. So the whole idea was if we don't do this together, we're just gonna be competing against each other. Yeah. So how do we create this so that when I know the strength of our influence in the U.S., our money in the U.S., what are we doing competing against? So we don't need anybody else. We don't need a studio system. Now, what can happen is this: let's say someone creates a movie or a TV series. Put it on our platform. Our people love it. The data shows how many people are watching it. Well, then that show right there can. Then you get your bigger platforms,
and they're going to be competing.
They're coming, Now they're coming saying, "Hey, we love that. Can we have the next season, or can we buy that whole concept for it?" So then it's a win-win for everybody. Yeah. So the idea of just showing a. Back in the day, you could just write an idea on a napkin, and if not us, but they could write an idea on a napkin, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, here's $1 million. Go make this movie or whatever," right? And then it turned into you have to have a pitch deck, then you have to package it with actors, you have to grow before they actually fund it. Now it's like, okay, you have to be. It used to be a sizzle, so you just get some concepts of other videos and put it together. Then it's like a full pilot. We then want to see what kind of materials do you have, right? So that's where we're at now. So you have to almost shoot a whole pilot. We're shooting a pilot in 2 weeks, 4 or 5 days of production, and it's going to be so they can see the whole idea of what we're going to do, the actors that we're going to attach to it, and that way it sells better, right? So we're going to, all that goes well. We'll put it on our platform, and then we'll build the data behind it. But it's harder and harder now for a producer to pitch their ideas because most of the platforms are just doing their own thing. They have their own producers. They have their own directors. They have their own actors.
Costs less money, right?
Yep, and they just keep them going together. So us on the outside, we're knocking on the door, and they don't even hear, bro. They don't even hear us, So how are they going to hear us? They'll hear us when we make more noise, and that's what we're trying to do. We're going to build a platform. We have our master classes, our digital media. We're going to go deep dive on that. Like I have the guys that built out Me Too and BuzzFeed and Better Like, right? One of the guys is Alberto Portillo, right? So he's one of my business partners. So he together has like over 1 billion views on his content. He knows how to do all that. He's going to take over our streaming, our digital media side, our Facebook and our Instagram and so on. And we're in a conversation right now with Snapchat to build and be one of their content creators on Snapchat and so on. So the digital media side, that's where Latinos are. So we're going to get our audience from there, then distribute it to our streaming platform, to our master classes, to our live events. You know, we did really well with our live events this year with the Latin Kings of Comedy. So we bought that brand, and then we're going to launch 2 more type of similar things. I noticed for the Latin Kings, beautiful guys. I love those guys. A lot of their audience, though, is like I was the youngest one usually. And those I'm like, a lot of old people here, you know. So we have to. There's the next generation that needs to get out there on the road and build them up. There's guys, comedians that are in our area that I love that they should be national by now, and I believe in them. Jerry Garcia, Jesus Sepulveda, Sebs, all these guys are great comedians, right? And then there's the younger ones, like Martin Arizo, Super Ego, Eric Ochoa, all these other guys are young.
Oh, you work with Super Ego?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we work real close to him. And so those guys, right, we have to, I was telling Martin the other day, right now, Gen Z, if there's any kind of funny in anyone, what they're doing is they want to do TikTok videos.
Yeah.
And they want to do Instagram, that kind of stuff, right? If we don't inspire with live audiences, with stand-up, we're going to lose the art of stand-up with the younger generation.
That's true.
All they want to do is bring a phone out. So I told Martin, I love Martin. I think he's hilarious. And I'm like, we got to get you on the road because they need to see you. And it can't be, adult and 21 and older because the kids can't go in. But we got to figure out how to do it for the kids to go in so they can see, like, oh, that guy's hilarious. He's young. I want to do what he's doing, And so that's part of the mission. It's not just about going out there and doing a tour because those can break you big time. Yeah. But it is about getting that art out there so that we don't lose it, or else within our community, I don't know about other communities, but I know within ours, we'll lose it because they just want to do TikTok videos, Yeah. So that's part of our strategies. It's to build. It's not just to create money or stuff like that, It's really to build who we are,
That's interesting. I had never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
The art of comedy dying just because of TikTok, and it's true. Mm-hmm. They want to see one joke, and that's it, instead of like an actual build-up of everything. Yeah. We've had comedians, and they tell us how they build up to their jokes. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. But TikTok is kind of taking that away.
I think the reason for, bro, as human beings,
our attention spans.
Our attention spans are so short.
They're getting shorter, yeah.
And not only that, but a lot of the shit that we're doing with our lives, it's like if you don't have time. Like, I sometimes sit and watch Netflix specials, right, or specials, and they're still a little bit long sometimes. You know what I mean? And with TikToks, it's instantaneous.
In 15 seconds into the story's over.
You got like 3 seconds to catch someone's attention. That's the hook. If you don't hook them in 3 seconds, they swipe up.
But you're right. It's something that we shouldn't let die. Yeah. Because not just only stand up, but like comedy itself, it's something that we've been doing since forever. I mean, Jesters existed back when the Kings. That was the comedic pun. You know what I'm saying? Jesters. That was their sole job. Yeah. So
the arts, just the arts and theater and everything like that. It's just you're right.
And every culture had it. Yeah, every culture had it. So
I was on I was in New York last week for the Thanksgiving week, and we hit up 3 Broadway shows.
Oh, nice.
And it's like, damn, I've been missing out. Like, I watch movies and things, but seeing it live, seeing it in person, it's
a different experience, huh?
Completely different
experience. I saw a Blue Man
experience.
Group just last week.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I took my kids. I got a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And I said, fuck, they're not gonna like it. I'm like, I've never seen this. I didn't know what it was about. They were laughing. I'm talking about down to the 7-year-old, and they don't even talk.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So so comedy itself, it's something that we got to keep.
And exposing, because you never know what I mean, I'm a big believer that God gives us all gifts, right, to contribute to humanity, right? So some of us have organizational gifts, entertainment gifts, whatever it might be. But there's kids out there right now that have the gift of stand-up comedy. I don't think that's in the Bible, but anyways, it's the gift of stand-up comedy, right? But they have that in them, and if we don't expose them to someone that's having fun on stage, making people laugh, it's going to just be dormant, and they're going to end up in a miserable life because they never fulfill their purpose. And that goes with acting, producing, directing, business, small business or whatever it might be, photography. So I'm a big believer in exposing people. Let them figure it out themselves. But if they see something that clicks, they're going to go after it. Then it's their passion. And then when it's their passion and you can do it and you skill yourself, then you have your career. Then you have you're building something more than just a hobby. So there's different things that have to click together. But I do know when I just being where I've been around, it's like, okay, there's not that many young kids that want to be stand-up comics. So we need to
Yeah.
expose them to successful young kids that, and these guys are all younger than me, so that's why I can call them young kids. But, you know, they can see there's young kids, and it's like, okay, cool. They can do it, I can do it. You know, I want to do that one day and spark these dreams again, you know. So that's part of our mission, is that we just, let's build them up. Let's try to see what we can get people to the next level, you know.
So I'm curious, actually. So you know, you're talking about uplifting and helping everybody else. Where did that spark come from for you? I know that you said that, you know, standing in theater, that one in junior high, standing there kind of opened something up to you. And then you took 23 years off from just Hollywood in general. And now you come back and now you're talking about, you know, kind of the platform and producing and helping and uplifting. Where did that come from for you?
Yeah, so it's part of it. It's just like, you know, when we started going to church, right? It was an Assembly of God church, Spanish Pentecostal church, which they were, that culture at the time was anti-everything. Now they're not as much, but anti-everything, right? You don't go to movies, you don't listen to secular music, all that, right? But if it's Christian, it's fine. And you could do plays at church. So once you start going to church, I was in every play, right? Okay. And then, of course, you'd see, like, remember the Victory Outreach, Duke of Earl, right, and all those plays. So we'd go to those, right? So part of that was still part of it. And then I went to college. The college I went to was a small conservative college. They had a choir, but they didn't have a drama team. But I went to the president. I said, how come you don't have a drama team? I don't know. You want to start it? I'm like, yeah. So I started a drama team in class. And then we toured all over the Southwest. So it was always part of me. And then part of the you know, there's a point in life, and you guys are probably there already with me, where you realize, you know, in my life, I have ministry, then I've had other businesses. So one of my strongest, I've had car rental businesses. I've had a construction business that I was very, very successful at. We built Ritz-Carlton in Vail. We built Macy's in Arizona, Chandler Mall there, the old one, right? And we, all these, the ADT building in Denver. So I had some big projects. We made a lot of money. And I realized that, it was funny too, is I had like 75 BISOS working for me. All these suckers were undocumented, which at the time was like, whatever, my homies, right? So they worked hard. But it wasn't a big deal back then, right? So I realized there, when there's a point where you have money and you realize it's cool, but unless you're helping people and you're truly helping people get to the next level, I'm not fulfilled if I'm not doing that. So I know what it's like to have and to lose. I've owned 2 houses. I've lost them both. You know, the economy tanks. I lose it all. You know, it's just part of it. So those kind of things happen in life. But there's a point when you're going up and down that you realize what is constant. Constant is your relationships, and what's constant is with me. I remember when I lost my house, and it was in Sacramento. The economy tanked in 2008, right? And we got foreclosed on. We were in the first wave. Everything we lost it. It was destroying me because I was like just turned 40 years old, midlife crisis, right? Had to shut my church down because I had an inner city church, right? And beautiful people, 300 Hispanic, Black, Asian, ghetto hoods. I had pimps, prostitutes, right? Beautiful people, but they didn't pay no tithes, right? They didn't have the money. And we had just gotten to this big building, and I lost it all. We had to close the church. But one very painful time in my life, right? As I'm having to just clear all that up, lost our house. We still have to stay in an area called Elk Grove because my son was in high school, and he had to graduate, right? So we got another rental. We couldn't move in though for 2 weeks, so we just escaped to Utah for 2 weeks. My brother lives over there. We just went on vacation, right? So I'm driving over the hill on Donner Pass, and we're in this little car because we lost everything. And I looked in the mirror, and my 3 kids are behind me. And they're cracking up, laughing. To them, it's just another road trip. They're cracking up and laughing, whatever they're doing. And my wife's next to me. I don't know what she was doing. She was reading or something like that. And right there, I just felt the Lord told me, the most important things in your life are in this car right now. That's all that matters. And I looked and thought, that's it. And just this sense of relief came, because right there is when I really felt like God told me, give yourself permission to fail. If you can give yourself permission to fail, then I can use you for whatever you want to do. So right there, I said, I'm okay. I lost it all again. All right, I'm good. And I gave myself permission to fail. We went to Utah and, came back and got into our house. My son finished high school, and that's when all that transition happened, that we ended up over here in Hollywood, in Culver City. And that's where our journey started here. So the idea of what I learned through all that pain is that my purpose is to help other people find their purpose. And it's when whatever's important, human beings are important. I come across people, different walks of life, different, you know, political views, different religious views, different like that. And I don't care. It's like, what are you doing? How can I help you get to that spot? How can I help you get to where you want to be? I've had people, you know, I won't say her name, but I had one person that on the political side, she hit me out and went, can I talk to you? Yeah, we went and met for a hamburger, and she says, I've been doing the politics for years, and you know what? I'm not happy. I want to be a stand-up comedian. And I'm really, yeah, cool, man. So she connects. She's part of our family, right? And she wanted to take classes and all that. She's still back in the politics again, but she found that side of her though, and you know, that's one's her job, one's her purpose,
Her passion.
yeah, one's her passion, you know. So I found joy in that, you know. It's like, oh, cool, she's happy. So there's people that are art directors right now. We're shooting this next weekend a short film on a Western set. So I got this dude that wants to be, you know, old homie, homie from South Central. And he did time. He had 23 years in, all this kind of stuff, right? He got out in one of those programs, and then I connected with him, and I said, hey, I need some help with art. Yeah, I'm down with it, right? So he's going to be our art director. I told him, you can take whatever title you want. Production designer, art director, I don't care. Just you take it. But you're in charge of making sure this looks like a Western, you know. Mm-hmm. And so he's hit me, hey, bro, I got this, I got that, like that. So homeboy, after 23 years of, you know, in being a lifer, coming out, and now he's an art director on one of our sets, and then that's going to build him up, and I'm going to plug him in with everyone else. And I remember when we drove up to Scout, he's like, man, I just feel so cool, because he's meeting with the director, the executive producer, and I said, don't tell him nothing. And so we're meeting, and he came prepared, right, and he had some sketches and all this stuff, and they're impressed with him right away. And so to me, it's like knowing that we contributed. It's not just us, but other things happen, but we contributed a small part to get this guy up to the next level. That's the best feeling in the world, you know.
Nice.
And we want to do that with small businesses. We want to do that with talent, you know. I always, it's a terrible question to ask, but I'll ask people, name me 10 A-list Chicanos in industry. And it's always the same ones. And I respect them all. Mario Lopez, Evan Longoria, George Lopez. Who else? I always forget too.
Jose Peña, what's his name? Peña.
Yeah, Michael Peña.
Michael Peña.
Michael Peña is another one.
Michael Peña. Damn.
Chicanos, right?
Yeah, Chicano.
Chicano.
Danny Trejo.
Danny, obviously, yeah, Danny.
Edward James Olmos.
Mm-hmm. Edward.
It's tough.
It's tough. A-list, and the A-list qualifies as someone that's it's a common name and a household name.
Yeah.
There's not. Think about this. We were here first.
Yeah.
We were here first, bro. We're not there. No. But we say Latino. Oh yeah, we can blow it all. J-Lo, you know, we can do all that, right? Mark Anthony, blah, 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 blah. But we're the 40 to 50 million of us, and we're still last. So what do we change about that? Well, how can we create more A-list talent? We have to do that ourselves. We have to create our own shows. We have to create our own movies. We have to have our audience get them together and say, you make them an A-list because they're great. They're talented. We're talking about Sonia Balcazar earlier. Amazing talented, right? Jerry Garcia, amazing. Concrete, amazing. Ashley Alvarez, amazing. These guys are all Chicanos that are amazing actors that they should be and they will be A-listers at one time. But the only way it's going to happen is if we build underneath them. And when I know that they are household names, just out right now they're all LA names. When I can get them out of LA and they're household names, and it's like, okay, we did our job. That's good. That's a win for me. You know, that's a big win. And I had this happen to me. I was with JR and we're meeting with someone. He's African American man. He works with a lot of the post funding for big movies with Warner Brothers, right? So like. He just did Maverick. He did Fast 9, right? The big movies, right? So he works with them, and he likes what we were doing. So we're talking, and he tells me this. He goes, you know, they're not going to let you keep it. I said, what do you mean? He says, I said, who's they? He goes, Hollywood. I said, what do you mean Hollywood? Because they're not going to let you keep this. He goes, I'm in those meetings all the time. He says, they don't want us controlling anything. We can go work for them, but we can't control it. You're building something that they're going to realize, oh, man, we missed it. What is he doing? I said, well, what are they going to do? And he says, they're going to let you build it. Then they're going to come and knock on your door, and they're going to say, we're going to buy it now. I said, what if I say no? He says, you can negotiate, but if you say no, they're going to smear you, and then they're going to duplicate you. Now, at first, right, you get all gangster, right? You get all mad, upset. I was all mad. I remember driving home, like, screw that dude, you know? I'm going to get all right. But I realized, so what does that mean if they duplicate me? So if anyone duplicates what we're doing, what that means is
that it's working.
Yeah, the people that we brought in, the Ortega brothers, Caden Phoenix from the Chicano Directors Initiative, Echo's World, Maya Hernandez, all these, Lone Star, John Padilla, all these producers, directors that we're going to build up with them, because a lot of them are very talented, more than I am right now, and we're building underneath them, and some we're growing together. That means when they're just killing it, the bigger studios are going to come knocking on their door saying, hey, we saw what you did over there, but we need you over here now. I tell the Ortega brothers, I said, they're going to come and take you guys. And, bro, I said, no. I said, but you need to go. Because if you're over there, that means it worked.
And they can open doors up for everybody else.
Oh, yeah, big time. That's it right there. They'll bring in all the homies over there. Mm-hmm. And let's say Echoes will get caught up and he's over with Amazon Studios. Well, then he'll open up doors for everybody over there. And let's say others will, Kaden Phoenix, she's killing it, and she's a great director, and she's got caught up in Apple. Well, she'll open up doors for people over there, and that's what we know. I want them to have a Chicano genre on Hulu, a Chicano genre on Netflix. Now, would it kill us? Probably, but that means it worked though, and that's the goal, is to build their way up. Now, it's a business. We're gonna go, we're gonna grow, we're gonna build all that, and they might come and say, okay, here's a bunch of money, and then I thought about that too. If they want to acquire us, I'm like, I'm open to that too, because I'll do it. That money is just now invested into all these other production companies, and they have to give us an agreement that we can produce for them. So there's different things. That either way, it's going to be a win.
Gotcha.
We just got to build it, and them duplicating on a threat. It's not a threat to me when they say we're going to open doors. And I said, that all happens. Everybody gets taken. I'm by myself. Well, then, okay, I still got my bumper sticker, and they'll hire me.
So. But you know what else it does? It opens the door for younger generations. Exactly. The college students right now making short films, student films. It gives them an outlet to kind of branch out and look at that as well. So you have all these people that you already built up, and they can see that. Yeah. Especially with social media and the impact, and if like on Hulu, this fool, things like that. Like people are starting to see it. Yeah. And younger generations will be like, okay, I did my senior project on film production. Did I know anything about how to get into it? Nothing. And I think that opens the doors for a lot of students as well. So to be able to do that, to live that dream, like you said.
Yeah, and it's funny that you brought that up, because I had a young guy, he sends me an email. He says, hey, I have a short film. Do you think you can look at maybe you could put it on your platform? And I said, yeah, send it to me, right? And it's a short film, and it's called, you could go on our platform, it's called Lost Dog. And I know what it's like to produce, right? And is it a simple one? Yes. It's him, a couple actors, and he's directing and everything like that, right? So it's all a cool little metaphorical story. And it's got a, intense dramatic moment at the end, right? So it takes effort to write that. Then it takes effort to shoot it. Then it takes effort to wrangle actors and get locations and all that. So is that short film going to be on Netflix? No. Is it going to be on Hulu? No. Or Amazon or Warner Bros.? None of those, right? It'll be on YouTube. But now it's on a streaming platform. So I'm like, heck yeah, bro, send it to me. Let's do it. I saw it. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So that young filmmaker can say, my short film is on a streaming platform, not just on YouTube. So we're building underneath that, right? And to me, it's like to give that kid a shot to put it up there, and then to let him get involved, and then, of course, to invite him. We want to do more mentoring and more training and stuff like that. I want to do a stunt class. There's not that many Chicano stuntmen out there, and women. And so I want to do a weekend where we just train a lot of them. And the reason why there's not is because there's not that many A-list
celebrities
that
we can double body or
exactly.
body doubles in.
So a lot of our Chicano guys aren't always getting called in because there's not that many A-listers or B-listers that need stunt double to come in. Yeah. So we have to. That's part of the whole ecosystem we have to build up. So let's create more of them. Well, then that means we're gonna have some more. We need some people over here. So this is what we got to do. So I want to get people in, and just taking the class is enough to build confidence. Like teach them how to fight, teach them how to tumble, teach them how to take punches and all that. That's a confidence builder who are like, okay, I want to do acting now, and it just sparks something inside of them, you know. So hopefully in the next few months, spring or summer, we're going to do a weekend boot camp for stunts.
Now, these classes that you speak about, are these classes that at the moment are free, offered to community, or is it something that you guys are?
Yeah, no, it's a subscription. So we're gonna. It's like I think it's like $5.99 a month, something like that, and they get all the classes for a year, for forever. You know, for per year. So it's
Gotcha.
$5.99. So they can walk in and pay. My business manager wants to make it $97, but I said not to get like 20 classes. So we're gonna have 20 classes up. So it'll be like $97 for the year. They pay that up front, or they could pay like $6.99 or something like that a month.
And it's 20 classes.
Yeah, and they have access. Now, the goal is to put 500 classes, you know. So, like, I'm already talking about the next 20. So, what I'm doing with the next 20 is, you know, we're going to, of course, always do film production, but I want to expand. Like, this last 10 that we did, we had Reverie. She did how to be an independent artist. So,
Okay.
she's raised in the hood. And she talks about what she did to find the passion, her lifestyle, and then get to where she's at now, you know. So, it's a whole journey. She did excellent. There's how to be a PA, how to be an AD, you know, that kind of production stuff, right? But I want to go into small business. You know, I just had a meeting with a bank and with their small business department. I said, look, I'm going to do these classes. We're going to go big on the marketing. If you guys want to sponsor the class, one of you can teach it, and you teach about all your tools you have at your bank. You know, so we're trying to do that so I can raise some money and do it like that. Because right now it's just all me. My other job paying like that. You know? And so I'm gonna try to get some businesses to do it so we can get some sponsorship behind it to do more. So the goal, before I'm gonna probably launch those on a big marketing thing. There's 3 more classes I want to upload, which they're basically waiting on me to do the descriptions. So hopefully by mid-December I'll be able to get to those, right? And then we're gonna launch those. And then we're going to start planning for the next 20. And then, you know, I want to get at least 500. You know, in a couple of years, if I could have 1,000 classes on there, that would be great.
Wow.
And it's all from us to us, you know, just
Gotcha.
so that people can see us doing these amazing things. And they could be like kids especially. And not just kids, though. There's guys my age that, bless their hearts, they've been working hard on whatever job they've had, but they never fulfilled their purpose. And they just wish they could have done something in either in Hollywood or something else. So I want to inspire them too. Like, okay, you want to do this, you still can, you know. And so that's what it's all about, getting people. So whenever people come around, I always tell them, go to the master classes and start learning the language. I didn't know anything about production, but I knew how to organize people. You know, I didn't know jack about the whole industry at all when I got here. I took 2 classes at UCLA, one on writing, one on film finance. But other than that, we just got thrown into it, and I had to learn. But the skill of managing people, I could do that easily. I just had to learn the language, learn the call sheet. What was that? You know, so whenever I was a background actor, I'd be looking like, what are they doing? What's that guy do? What's that guy do? I start putting it all together. So I want to accelerate that with some people, so they can learn what a call sheet is. You know, they can learn what a second is. They can learn, you know, what is crafty and what's catering. You know, what's 10-1. When someone says on the radio, I got to do 10-1. What does that mean? You know, people need to learn all that kind of stuff. Basically means you got to pee. You know? So, but yeah.
I think Mike's ready for that stunt class.
Nah, I would like to, I would definitely like to look at writing or directing.
Yeah. Ken Castillo is a great Chicano director. He has a whole class on how to direct. Tells the harder and stuff like that. You know,
Cool.
Yeah. So
And these are all classes you got to go to, like.
no, it's online.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's online?
Yeah, if you go to our website, you see the master classes.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
I'm gonna check it out too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I've always loved film and photography and all that.
Yeah.
I got my master's in business, but I wanted to go back to school to do photography. But I'm a dream, like I daydream a lot, and I start making up scenarios and shit.
So do I, dude. It's terrible. Huh?
So
I'll be in church and I'll just picture ninjas coming down. What would I do? Yeah. So, yeah.
That's crazy, but fuck, like that's dope. It's a lot of good things out there for our community to wake up and, like I said, do something with their passion if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, and that's super important. You know, we're doing something. I'm going to launch it this coming year with businesses as well. I would get hit up a lot by small businesses, and they'd be like, "Hey, you know, we just started," or "My dad just started this business. Can you shout them out?" Right? That was a big thing. Just give them a shout out, right? So I realized all of our Latino businesses, 10 million Latino businesses in the U.S. again, everyone's struggling and trying to get their, their being successful. There is a fail rate in there as well. Well, how do we help curb that a little bit? So knowing the buying power that we have, and you guys might remember QVC, right? So QVC was basically white women selling white products to white women. Basically, is what it was. Suburban women, that's just what their thing was. They designed that way. That was their demographic. So we're going to do something similar. And it's going to be Latinos selling to Latinos. We have influencers that we know that can come in, that they have big followings, they can sell. There's hosts that we can train. We did 6 businesses already. We have the videos that we're finishing the editing now. And then we're going to launch like a marketplace platform so that a small business can go and load up. Either they can create their own store, or like an Etsy or an Amazon, or they can just put their website up there and they can just link it, right? And we want to do that so that as we push into our audience, 40 to 50 million of us, we gather that audience, and then we use we leverage the talent that we have to help small businesses get their products out. They would never have that opportunity with anybody else. They would not that we're like patting ourselves on the back or anything like that, but I do know for a small Latino business to be promoted by some influencers would be hard for them to do. But if we create this system that they can do that, when the part of their marketing budget, we're on there and we're pushing it for them, and they can make some money, So we want to do that. We also want to do for small businesses, and this will be a win-win for both. Like, we have shows that we want to produce. Right now, I'm on a capital race. I'm talking to VC funders and so on to get some big investment in, but that takes a long time. I can't wait for someone to say yes or no, right? So we're going to move forward. So we have, man, that cough. We have a couple shows that we're going to do, that we're going to basically do product integration. So if a Latino business has some products, right, and we have written in the script, where the talent would say, "Oh man, I love this Aquafina," and check it out. And then of course we give them a shout out and we promote it and something like that, so that we know there's certain shows. Like there's one that we're in development now with a particular influencer that when he does and his family does videos, they're like 30 million views all the time. We've done videos for BuzzFeed with him, and they get like 30 million views, right? So we're gonna put a reality show together with him, and in there we can incorporate from household products to businesses. They can come to the business and we'll do an episode there, that kind of thing. So we get out of their marketing budget. They help us produce the show. We create that show, and then we put it on our platform. Plus we sell it up. There's platforms that I know that I can put stuff on, and then Tubi picks it up, or Studios picks it up, or whoever else might pick it up, right? And that gives more exposure. So it's just a partnership that we want to develop with the business community so that it could be a win-win. And small businesses will never have a shot of doing product placement in a TV series or a movie. But because it's us, we can do it. We can do whatever we want. So there's no asking a corporate board or nothing. It's like, nope, right here, you ask me, let's do it. So that's the beauty we're at right now. So we can actually incorporate this and work together and help build people up,
So you're hitting more than just Hollywood. You're hitting businesses, anybody that just needs kind of help, pretty much.
Yeah, anyone in our community, and it spawns from just people asking us. We started by shouting out, those in the entertainment industry, music. We're launching Chicano Hollywood Música. That came because all these Chicano artists were, hit me up like, "Hey, we're following you. Can you shout out our new music video?" And so then I would do it. Hey, so and so has a new drop. And it's always go to YouTube, right? Well, YouTube's a big black hole right now. There's nothing there for them. And you have to, these poor guys have to, they have to create a video, stick it on YouTube, and then try to drive their audience to go see it, right? Just to get exposure to the music. So I'm like, okay, how do we build a platform underneath them? We get hit up almost daily. Hey, I just got a new music, almost daily. And so, my daughter graduated from Azusa Film School. And so I said, let's put a plan together. She's very passionate about music and so on. So we just started putting, like, how can we build this up? So one of the ideas, we did a show called Chicano 2.0 with Jessica Flores. You can see that on our platform. So we got 9 artists, and we interviewed them, showed their music videos. We're going to keep doing a couple seasons of more of that. Then we're also going to do what's called just CHM. Remember how MTV was?
Yeah.
Or VH1?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So all, MTV was just music videos.
In the beginning,
right? Music video, video jockey. Music video, video jockey, right? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put it in 2-hour segments, and we've already recorded video jockeys. So we shot them a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to drop them in. And they're doing in between stuff like, hey, we got this next video coming up, or hey, blah, blah, blah. And we want it to grow. We're like, this summer, this is who's going to be on tour. And we show who's on tour, stuff like that, right? So we're going to start doing it in 2-hour segments. And it's designed so that while someone's putting their makeup on, they can have it on and they can be listening to the music, just like how we would back in the day, right? We put MTV on and we do whatever, right?
Well, I mean, a lot of times even now, I just put the TV just for noise.
Yeah.
While I'm doing something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy because we always talk at home with our kids about you guys don't know what it's like to have had VH1. And
yeah.
But my kids, like my daughter in the morning, she's getting ready. She wakes up at 6. She goes to school at 8:15, and in between that, the TV's on with music.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what we used to do, but with the music videos.
Music videos, yeah. So I want to bring that back. My daughter, right? So she just graduated college last year. She didn't know what a video jockey was. I had to tell her, this is what a video jockey does. Every time I would say it, she would go with it. Okay. And then she finds, what does a video jockey do? So we sat down and I put on the first 2 hours of MTV. And you can see it on YouTube. And it just shows the very first 2 hours. And then that's a video jockey. So these guys were boring back then, too. I didn't realize how boring they were, but they were boring. And you had this real stoic guy.
Real stiff, bro.
That was it was weird, right? And so she goes, oh, I get it now. I said, yeah. I said, let's reintroduce that to this generation. And look, let's create more Daisy Fuentes. Let's do out some more. I think there's people out there that love that. So when we did a little casting call, we picked 6 people, and they did it for us. Right, we had one guy from San Jose, Lucas. We had Ruby here from LA. We had JR doing JR Escobar. I had him do some, and Aaliyah, and there was several others, right? And so they just, we went to the studio in downtown LA, and we had it lined up, and they just did their stuff, and so now they're inserting those into a lineup of different music videos. So the genres will be mixed. Right now they're mixed. Eventually we'll have like this segment's banda, this segment's, modern or whatever it might be, right? Hip hop or rap, whatever, right? Yeah, rock. I want to get all the genres in, right? Because there's Chicanos that are doing everything. Right? Yeah. So, and I want to get to the point where I know that labels are going to be calling us saying, hey, can you put our music in there? And I already have. There's one of our artists that we interviewed for Chicano 2.0 was managed by will.i.am's people. So to me that was like a big honor, right? So this is cool. So creating opportunities for their artists to get their music out into our audience, that's a niche audience that we're going to gather in, is going to be big for them too. So and then we're creating new talent like video jockeys. I mean, just and however their careers grow. One thing I do know, and I tell people, once we launch this, we're going to see it duplicated quick.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to be, oh, that's cool. And then, they'll probably do a 10 times bigger production value, but that's all right,
I got a question. Do you think, like, you're talking about duplicating? Like, I know that there's been shows that have been bought from other studios, and then they completely they keep the idea or the premise of the show, but they recast the entire crew.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that will happen? Like,
there's some of the stuff that we're preparing for that to happen, and part of it is just the way the dynamics are. Like studios themselves, the bigger studios, they have contracts with the unions, that's IATSE and so on, right? So they have to use those. And then they have also contracts with lead talent that they have to commit to getting them opportunities, right? So, and they have like the DGA, there's like a list that you put your name on to be a director and so on. So like a TV series, you'll always notice it's usually one showrunner, but each episode has a different director or 2 or 3, they mix it up. So if I were, like I have a show called The King of Downey.
We did
the pilot. Yeah, we did the pilot. And I have, we showed that at the Mexican American Film Festival. We won Best TV. One of the reps that was there, that rep Disney and other platforms, came to us, said, we want to be a part of that. We want that show. I'm like, yeah. So we've been in talks since, right?
Nice. So
I'm trying to negotiate where we at least get 2 of our writers, and I want at least my talent to get an audition. So whoever's in this one, at least give them a shot, because I know they have contracts and they might replace certain leads, not because the person wasn't talented. It was because they have an obligation over here. So that is very possible. It just depends on what kind of deal we can get. So There's going to be some shows that we create, right? We're like this pilot we have coming up. We're going to create it all, and let's say that one gets picked up. And if we choose to option it, then the option, it's basically more than likely be where they keep it. They can do whatever they want with it, and pretty much all of us are gone. You know, except for like the owners of it. So normally, since Chicano Hollywood owns it, we'll negotiate that we're always part of it somehow, and we will always put our names on there so that, you know, we're not involved per se, but our names are always on there, right? You see like Ryan Seacrest, all his stuff, he's still like executive producer of the Kardashian show and all that, but he doesn't do nothing anymore. It's just part of the deal. Right?
He just sold it that way.
He just sold it, and that's part of the negotiation. So it's going to happen. We are going to create some stuff that other platforms are going to like, and it might be a good deal to do. It's not my first choice, because my first choice is to build us up. But like, if they're gonna offer a grip of money, and I know with that money I can put more people to work, I'd rather do that. Yeah. So it just depends. But my loyalty is gonna be to the people that are working with us and trusting us now. I want to do whatever I can to get them up. You know. So, but it will happen. We will be duplicated, but that's not a bad thing.
It's not, like you said.
It'll be hilarious. You know, and they'll probably do it better than us. They'll use helicopters and all this stuff.
All these big budgets. You ready to move on to the?
Let's.
I don't think I mentioned these things to him.
What's up?
So we have 2 segments that we do at the end of the show.
Oh shoot! Strip pole right now.
Yeah.
That's a casting concert.
No, you came on the right day. You would have come any other. But we have a no manches segment, and Mike does a great job explaining the no manches.
So the no manches segment, obviously, you know what it means. When something either bad happens or it's like a pet peeve. It doesn't have to be anything negative. It could be something funny, like no manches way, or no manches. That should happen. You know what I mean? So we always like to talk about a no manches that we believe or that we experienced, and that we say that was no manches for the week, or no manches for the day, or no manches for the month, or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And usually each one of us goes and we talk about it, and then at the end, did you talk about the words of wisdom?
No, I didn't.
So words of wisdom. At the end of the show, we like to leave our guests with for them to say what their words of wisdom is, meaning what they live by, what they're about, something that our listeners, your listeners, could basically use in their life to live their lives. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're gonna start off with the no manches. I know Cisco's gonna start off so you can see a little bit of what it is. Yeah. And then we'll go around the table.
Oh, my no manches is on planes, bro. So I was on a long flight in New York, and on the way over there. I don't know since when did they allow pets, like, in actual seats. Oh, I don't know if that's a new thing. This like flight to New York, flight back, people with dogs.
Was it
like little dogs? No, they weren't special needs dogs or nothing like that. Just regular normal. Dogs. Yeah, the little hairy dogs. You know, the ones they carry in bags and purses. Oh my god. You know, you're trying to watch a movie, you're trying to sleep, and the dog's just freaking barking and barking. It's like no manches. Like, I get it. I have 2 dogs. I love my dogs, but
they gotta go downstairs, right?
Yeah.
First class ticket for your dog.
Yeah, pretty much that's what they're doing, and it's like, dang, like people have kids. That's understandable. Babies crying, things like that.
So what you want to do with the kids? Leave them behind?
No. No, but like a dog.
I'm trying to watch this movie.
Hey, for real. Like, with the dog, it's like, bro, come on, like. I just don't get it. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense that you're going to pay a ticket and take up someone else's spot too, you know?
Yeah. Well, if they pay the ticket, they're not taking nobody's spot.
But I mean, that ticket, there's people always on standby.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you haven't seen Home Alone? The mom always trying to get to the kid?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I actually just saw that last night. So.
No, that's a good one. That's because I get annoyed at that. We were on a plane the other day with Oregon, and there was a baby in front of us. Now, I had kids. I had 3, and we traveled together. So I know when the air pressure gets high, they're going to cry. Right?
Yeah.
So what bugs me, too, is that when people get annoyed at that, they say, wait a minute, we were all babies at one time. Yeah. And let that kid cry, But
exactly.
When people get annoyed by that, I know, let that kid cry, man, because their ears are popping, So,
yeah.
But from here, it's like, it's
not
a dog.
Not the dogs, though.
Yeah, it's a dog. It's like, dang. And then you would think, okay, it's trained or it's something, but like barking like crazy nonstop, like.
I don't know, but they take them with them when they travel. They should just leave them at home. You
know what? Everybody's different. Everybody has a preference, but I mean, I'm not gonna take my untrained dog somewhere where you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm old school too. Like when we had dogs, right? Okay, if I'm taking my dog for a walk and he craps in your yard, that's on you, man.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna pick it up. You know?
I don't have my little baggie.
Yeah.
I
I'm like,
don't.
oh, sorry, sir, and we just run. You know. So nowadays they're walking around, they're wiping their butts with the wipey and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, heck no.
I haven't seen that yet, and I don't want to see.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, and then they're talking to him like, oh, I got my wipey right now. I'm like, are you serious? Just freaking walk away.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So you gotta know manches, Mike.
Mine's look. I don't know if it's a no manches, but I guess because I grew up not putting up Christmas lights. But there's always somebody in the neighborhood that outdoes themselves.
Oh yeah.
It's like fuck, you could light up the whole neighborhood. You know what I mean? And it's like they don't even. I don't get why people start putting up like mid December or mid November.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Christmas is not, or December is not for another 2 weeks. But that's my no manches. People that
They're trying to build up that clout. You know, people start putting it up.
ain't nobody gonna go.
People start driving to the street and seeing that house. Yeah.
And then they come take your parking spot. And all that.
No, but there's this lady. My daughters laugh. This lady down the street. Su granddaughter de ella es amiga de mis daughters. I think she's 1 year younger than Angelica. And the grandma, she's an older lady. I don't know how she fucking puts the Christmas lights all up in this tree that's so high. But she could be out right now putting them. We go inside the house, and by the time we come out like 30 minutes later, everything's ready.
Up on the top and everything?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we're like,
I'd be scared of that.
That's how she stays young, dude.
Yeah, I know.
The grandma.
like,
That's how the
what's
grandma
that?
stays
Yeah,
young.
I know.
Dad, she was just putting them on, literally.
And now they're at
I
the
was
top
like,
of the tree.
That's the top of the tree.
Bro.
Because she has like this big tree, and then, but they're all like,
She's a bruja, bro.
I
So
don't know.
come on.
Yeah,
She's got the broom on it.
Yeah, I know. You know.
that's why no manches. Wait till December to put the freaking lights on.
Wait after Thanksgiving, right? That's the
Yeah,
rule.
yeah,
Wait
yeah.
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So
My no manches, like especially now, this is, and I suck at this because my family's gonna be upset about it. But I hate going in big groups to a restaurant. There's like, you know, and right now when all the family gets together, right? I'm more down with let's cook something at home or order pizza, whatever. Let's just hang out at home. But everybody wants to go eat. So then we go, and then they pick that restaurant that has a line, and then there's like 20 of us. I'm like, this is going to take 2 hours. What are we doing here? You know, so that's my no manches. I have a pet peeve about that. I also have a pet peeve about, maybe I just have little patience. But when they say, okay, we're all going to this location, I'll just follow you. I said, don't follow me. Don't follow me. Yeah, I'll send you the directions. I'll meet you there because I hate.
Because then you lose them, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
then you got to pull over. Then you got like 4 cars in the freeway, pull over, wait for that one car that got, you know.
or
I'm
they
sorry.
get that red light, and you're like, oh, I gotta pull over the
Yeah.
fucking side.
So I don't like to do convoys, and I don't like to go to restaurants. With a lot
They're
of
like, these
people.
people are rolling deep over here.
You know what? I'm gonna agree with his no manches. My no manches now is people that go to restaurants with 20 people. It's only 2 of us. I just want to tell you. But we have a party ahead of you.
Yeah, they put up like 4 tables together.
We have a party of 20 ahead of you. I don't care. I'm just 2.
There's
Fuck.
2, yeah.
That's
I'm with
no
you on that.
manches.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's my.
It's his and his family.
Yeah, big time.
Oh,
So
man.
yeah,
It's a good one.
Before we move on to the last segment, anything that you're working on right now that you want anybody to know, like what's the biggest project that you have coming on right
Well,
now?
the thing that I would really love, especially individuals or businesses. So we're doing a capital raise now. So if you're rich out there and you want to invest, yes, please. But businesses, we're going to launch the business to business platform. So if you're a small business and you want to be a part of that, you know, you can connect with us at ChicanoHollywood.com or the Instagram Chicano Hollywood or info@ChicanoHollywood.com. That's to me is a real important thing they want to build around right now, because I think you know, people keep talking about recessions and all this stuff. If we don't circle the wagons and support each other, our people are going to hurt. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is really circle the wagons with that, you know. So I'm already got several meetings with people who will build a platform up and so on. And I know we have the talent to help sell too. So it's just a matter of doing that. So that's probably, you know, number one. If you're a business and you want to invest in some of our projects where we actually talk about your product in the script or we put you in a movie, something like that, it's not going to be, you know, millions of dollars. I mean, this is us. We can do things really, really reasonable, part of your marketing budget. So any small business that want to, we can incorporate into that would be great too. Because what's important to me right now is that we get some of our shows off the ground. And I know we can develop and shoot series and even movies at a really reduced cost because what we talked about earlier, we don't have any A-list Chicanos yet, so they're not going to demand $20 million, right? The crews we have, they're all highly skilled, and they're part of the movement, and they want to work. So, they're working for decent rates and all that stuff. So we can get some stuff done. So any small businesses that want to be a part of this, we would love to plug in with that.
Cool.
Man, I'm going to have to hit him up on the business side, the podcast side.
Business, podcast. Yeah, let's get your podcast on the streaming platform.
Cool, appreciate it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Go to the streaming platform and download the app. I want to have 10,000 people. The way we're right now, we're almost at 1,000. So we have 1,000 people that download the app, and we'll hit that within the next couple of days, right? The goal is to get to 10,000. We're at 10,000 people. Brands are going to be running to us right now. Like if you look at the app now, you look at the shows that are on there. There's a few movies and documentaries and short films, and it's great animation. Fliplandia, that guy's hilarious, right? Commercials are dropping in, so as the commercials drop in, that's how we're making some monetization, right? But the more activity we have there, the more the bigger brands. But we've had Burger King, Spectrum, we've had a Kim Kardashian commercial. So the bigger brands are coming in. So they see us, and the company I'm working with, they all work on an algorithm. And he told me, he says, basically, it's on the activity you have, it's going to be pulling in. So these companies want to be on Hispanic platforms. So they were hitting me up like, hey, when you're ready, because we have a lot of companies that want to roll with you. So so it's important that we get people to download the app, watch the content out there. The musica, just put the music on, put a show on, and do whatever you got to do, but just let the ads run in. That way we can get that.
What is the name of the app again?
So go to your Roku. It's called Chicano Hollywood. So
Hollywood.
It's either going to be one word or two words, but Chicano Hollywood. You can go to your iPhone, your Roku, your Fire, Google, Android, whatever it might be. But all the app stores, we have them all on there.
Gotcha. Chicano Hollywood.
So just Chicano Hollywood, 2 words or 1 word. Depends on which one. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Everybody download that app.
It's real easy. I have it right here, guys. So
Yeah, that's it right there.
I have it on my phone already.
And
So
we have good stuff. We got
make
the
sure-
old Latin Kings comedy.
Yeah.
We bought the brand, which came with that. So we have the
So you're
old
talking
Latin-
about the George Lopez one?
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
Okay.
Cheech Marin. We have all them on there. So you have all the old iconic guys on the streaming app already. We
Nice.
have good movies on there from Peter Bollinger, where he did Kilroy, which had like a lot of Chicano actors. Shadowbox or a few others. So there's some good movies on there, some short films, so documentaries. So it's good content. So just get on there. And it's all about a movement.
Yep.
It's all about the cause right now. And I have people like I would say, when are you gonna put real movies on there? Like those aren't real movies, But I know what they're saying. They're saying studio level.
Yeah.
I just help people just grow with us. Just grow with us because we will get there.
Yeah.
But I just need our gente to grow with us because it's not just about, we're not just building a business. We're building a movement that's going to take us all to the next level. Business, music, and Hollywood,
Cool.
So that's the plan.
There you go. Chicano Hollywood and all your app stores, whatever you
Google
have.
Play Store.
Yep.
Yeah.
Follow us on social media, Facebook, Chicano Hollywood, Instagram, Chicano Hollywood,
Cool.
TikTok, Chicano Hollywood, Snapchat and YouTube. I'm working on those right now.
Cool.
So they're small, but
It's tough, huh? Keeping up with everything.
yeah, man. Oh my
It's
gosh.
tough.
I'm freaking busy. Yeah. But
Cool.
your podcast will be on there too. So all your
Thanks,
followers,
Appreciate that. Yeah,
let's get it on there.
for sure.
So, guys, we come to the segment where our guests are gonna give us some words of advice, words of wisdom. Go ahead. What is something that you live by that you would like all of our listeners and your listeners to know?
I said it earlier, and one of the things that liberated me from living a dormant life was giving myself permission to fail. If you can give yourself that permission, and what that means is you're gonna fail. Everyone fails. Everyone makes mistakes. But the more you're able to deal with it and brush it off and laugh it off, the more you'll accomplish. I failed in business. I failed in real estate. I failed in different other things. But the moment I learned, and God helped me with this one, he just told me, give yourself permission to fail. Once I did that, I'm like, shoot, now I don't care. So someone asked me the other day, what if this all fails? So then we'll laugh about it. We're like, oh, remember when we tried to do that? We'll just laugh and move forward to whatever the next thing is. But because I've given myself permission to fail, I don't see any limits. People tell me, you're going to put a Netflix out there? I said, yeah, I have no idea how, but we're going to do it. You're going to, do a business thing? Yeah, I have no idea how. What are the video jockeys? I said, I know what those are, but let's introduce it to the world. So because of that, which could be dangerous too, But because of that, I don't have any fear of failure. So when you don't have fear of failure, you can fly to the moon. So I'm telling everyone, gente, don't worry about failing. Just do it. You're going to fail, laugh it off, learn lessons, and then move forward. And then go to the next thing. Because the more you move forward, the more you give yourself permission, the more you're going to accomplish. And to me, we only have one life. Don't get stuck. Make sure you leave it all on the field. Make sure you leave it all on the field. And we've seen recently a lot of people die because of COVID or the treatment of COVID or whatever it might be, right? And there's been a lot of funerals. I almost every day I'm on Facebook, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss, right? It's terrible. And all those people, if they didn't fulfill their dreams went with them to the grave. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that to happen to you guys. So what are our dreams that aren't fulfilled yet? Let's get them out there. Let's try. What if we fail?
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. So just take them, man. Just take them. So if I can give any kind of wisdom, it's going to be that. Don't give yourself permission to fail.
Nice.
I
And
like
that caught me on earlier when he said that.
Me too.
It hit me.
It hit me too. I was going to say, bring it up.
Yeah. So very, very,
So
very well said.
I
Very
want
well
to see
said.
you in the middle of the Halloween parade.
and I was going to bring it up earlier, but I thought it was a great way to end the show when I was going to thank you. Because it's been a couple of weeks and we podcasted because of our cameras. And just today, it reminded me how much being on a podcast and listening to people, like you said, it's about relationships and learning from people and hearing about purpose and happiness. And this is something that's made me happy. I have my business, but I always felt like there was something lacking as well.
Exactly.
And this brings me a joy. It kind of takes me away from my daily life. You know what I mean? And it takes me to another place. So I appreciate that.
That's exactly it right there. Because we might have businesses that we still have to do it, and you're making that bread, so it's just the way it is. But then you have this other thing that you do, and look at what you're set up here. This is freaking awesome. And to me, I applaud you guys because you said let's just do it, and look at where you're at right now. And then you're gonna be on a streaming platform. What's up with that? Let's build your audience. I'm all about that. So
Cool. Well, it was a pleasure having you. Honestly, we appreciate the stories and everything that you brought today to our podcast
And what you're doing to the
and what
community.
you're doing exactly.
Oh man, I'm done with you guys, man. So I always tell people two things. It's only historic if we do it together, and the other is let's grow together. We have to grow together. Individually, we've tried it and it doesn't work. We have to do it together.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the old school guys that have been around, and a lot of people give them heat because, well, so-and-so doesn't open the doors for other Latinos. So-and-so, he's up there or she's up there. You think she would. I realize some of those A-listers that we talked about, they don't have the power to bring everybody out. They maybe one or two, maybe, but they're not in those positions to do it. And I don't blame them. They got to keep earning for themselves. They have to keep but they can't just look back and pull everyone. It won't work as an individual. But together, we can build each other up. And that force, when we finally get to our spot, that's going to be like a serious force. That's when they're going to be duplicating us. That's when they're going to be calling on you guys to say, hey, can you help promote this next movie? That kind of stuff, But it only because we're doing it together.
Yeah.
If we do individuals, it's not going to work. But together, we can really be that force.
Cool.
That's dope. Once again, we appreciate you coming down. It was a great time. Like I said, it means a lot to listen to you telling us about all those experiences and everything that you're doing. So I applaud you.
Thank you.
And we want to say thank you, guys. I know this is Thanksgiving weekend just happened, so we hope you had a great Thanksgiving. The holidays are coming up. The rest of the holidays are coming up, so make sure you say I love you to your loved ones. Make sure you take care of yourself because everybody's getting sick right now. And make sure you watch us and you watch Chicano Hollywood, okay?
Yeah, that's right. They're going to be huddling up, watching movies for the holidays. Make sure you download that app and watch those.
There you go.
You exhaust everything on our platform twice. If you don't mind. Put it on while you're vacuuming. I don't care. Hang on.
So, alrighty, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.
God bless, guys.